and adjust the monitor isolate. All right, so hello, those that are in the Entering a Virtual Universe camp and anyone else tuning in. My name is Jeremy, for those newcomers, and we're going to be streaming some VR content here. This is a program called, we're going to start with a program called Mission ISS, which is a wonderful tour of the International Space Station. And you can really fly around it, just float around the environment just like you would as if you were up there yourself. And maybe we'll go on a spacewalk. We'll see what we can do. So after that, we'll do a brief tour of Google Earth. We'll zoom around. So if you have any places you want to check out in Google Earth, we can try that. Okay, let me jump into the headset. You can switch over to game capture, and let's have a look. Okay, and I am going to reset my view again because somehow it got all mixed up. This direction, there we go. So is that showing up, Victor?
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to do explore, just a free explore of the ISS. Gives me some controls. I think I remember movement thrusters, laser select, rotation, grabbing. I think I'm okay. And Victor, is there a chat window that's showing up in Streamlabs? Off to the right at all?
Yeah, there's something. Yeah,
okay.
I see it.
All right. I would say refresh that every few minutes or so just to make sure that the latest ones are there. But you should be okay. It usually updates live well enough. But just to be safe. Okay, so here I am in the ISS, and it doesn't. I'm mostly a stationary object right now, but I will be able to change that as I float and fly around. The other cool thing about this is that I have the ability to move around the station the same way the astronauts do. You can see there are rails all around the space here, and I can grab onto those and launch myself through. So we'll notice some interesting locomotion mechanics for VR that you couldn't experience in other games or experiences like this. It only can be done in VR because I have hands that are modeled, and I can control grabbing. I can point to things here. I think it'll tell me what they are. We can go on a little bit of a tour. As I mentioned in the previous videos, these controllers are touch sensitive as well as actual pressable buttons. So I can, you see my thumb there. If I touch my thumb to one of the base buttons, it will lower it. I can pull my fingers in by using this grab switch on the controller. And I can touch my my index finger to the trigger to move my index finger in and out in VR. And I can just make a fist by doing all those together. So it's sort of meant to simulate how you would actually operate your hand. So there's a lot of different methods.
This is an MWE, the maintenance work.
All right. We'll get to that. What else? You can see I don't really have a body, just sort of floating hands. But that's okay. Alright, so you can see objects are floating around in the environment, and I can grab them. You can inspect them, see what they say. Looks like there's a barcode, some kind of cargo equipment. Now, I'm sure you can guess, the ISS does not have a bunch of random debris floating around in it, like this. This is purely to add some interactive elements to this experience. But no, they are very tidy up there. They don't want loose objects just floating around all the time. But you can see that is the case in here. Let's set that down there. Of course, it's not really going to set down. It's just going to kind of float. All right, let's fly around a little bit. And flying around like this with this smooth motion is not for the faint of heart. It's already, like, to some degree, my brain doesn't like what it's initially seeing. But that's because I'm just using the control stick to operate my movement. If I switch over to actually interacting with the environment with these rails and rising myself up, it starts to make a little bit more sense to my brain and my visualization processes, so I can actually move about the cabin. Now, of course, I'm not moving very much in physical space besides my arms, but I can sort of get into the groove of things and kind of trick my brain into thinking, yeah, I'm moving around in an environment. Right back. You can see there's some mission patches here from the variety of shuttle missions that have gone to the space station. Some camera equipment. Look at all these lenses. Can't pick those up. Can't pick up these tools back here though. See what I can grab. This drill. Yep, grab the drill. Can't activate it, but I can throw it. Let it float through space. There you go. Is it something like that? Duct tape. Patching up those micro meteor holes, you know? Alright. Now, one thing they often do, if you've ever watched clips of astronauts in the space shuttle, to move down a long hallway, I guess you could call it, like this, they often just sort of launch themselves, not super fast, because of course there are other people on the space station, and there's also a lot of equipment. And you don't have to worry about slowing yourself down too. They will launch themselves through these hallways. So let's see if I can get that down. 1, 2. Oh, I launched myself the wrong way. Let's try again. 3. Whoa, there we go. Not too bad, not the most direct. Oh, hey, look at that, a window. Let's check that out. Climb right on down here. We can peer, almost like we can peer out into space. Looks like we're looking right down on the Earth. Really nice. Alright. This here. I think this is the one for, this might be for operating $10. I don't think it will let me do that right now. See the laptops that they have placed about. More mission patches. Ooh. Spacesuits. We might come back to those in just a bit. Whoa. Almost lost my balance there. In the real world. Look at all the patches. And this isn't even all of them, especially with the SpaceX missions going up now. There's a ton of them. Pretty decent resolution too. You can actually read quite a few of them. I wonder if we can find some of the local astronauts. I'm just taking quick glances here. Let's see if we can find one. There's bound to be one here somewhere. I don't remember what their patches look like off my head. I'm looking for Dan Bursch or Douglas Sterling. Evan Collins. Yeah, some of them might be repeats too. I don't know get all the patches or what? Yeah.
Preston is asking where do they sleep?
Where do they sleep? We can try and see if we can find their sleeping area. There's a few of them around the station. Let's see if we can find it. From the one I saw most recent, it was the cool part about sleeping in space is you don't need to worry about your orientation. It doesn't really matter. There's no up, there's no down. As we're learning here, as I fly around. We'll go down there in just a second. And I don't see one here. But you can sleep vertically, you can sleep horizontally. Again, that really doesn't even mean much in space, because you're just floating. So you sort of wrap yourself up in a sleeping bag and Velcro yourself to a wall. This is basically how that goes down. But there's these nice little roomed closets. If you're claustrophobic though, probably not, at least in its current form, probably not the way you'd want to fall asleep because it is pretty tight quarters. Good question. Here's one. Look at it. Dan Birch, right there. This was, I'm not sure what kind of mission this was. Something 111. I don't know whether it was Expedition or STS or what. This says 112, so this is probably an STS mission. Cool. We found a local astronaut patch. Neat. All right. Sure, Hurley is around there somewhere too. All right, here I am descending into the cupola. The cupola is a really nice wide field view out into space. This is where a lot of astronauts get their amazing pictures. We can look out towards the solar panels there. Lost my hand there for a moment. It just turned into a controller. And this is also where they operate. Actually, this is, I think, where they operate the Canada arm, now that I think about it. Yeah, it's out there. There's a joystick for it. And I really won't have too much time to show that off. There is simulations that you can run in here, like operating the Canada arm and pulling one of the SpaceX capsules into station, but we don't have quite enough time for that. I'm going to go back this way towards the spacesuit. And you see, I've completely reoriented myself here, so I'm going to try and make it so I can maneuver a little bit more reasonably. There we go. Not even sure which way I'm facing. Is this front? Picture?
Yeah, a bit to the left.
Oh, okay. I'll just reorient myself so you're looking, so I'm facing towards the camera.
Now you're good. Yeah.
Okay. So here are the space suits, the EVA suits that they wear on spacewalks when they have to do something on the exterior of the station. Patch. Really want to find a Hurley patch, but I haven't found one yet. So I think it's time, while we wrap up our tour of the space station, actually time. Where is it? Oh, there we go.
The spacesuit is pretty big, as you can see. It's like being a football player. Part of the reason it's so big and bulky is because of the strap
So here's
size.
astronaut Cindy Williams.
It's like going on a
talking about
with a
spacesuit
backpack,
using
but the
word
backpack
that we're
and the
looking at
suit
right here.
weighs about 300 pounds. Luckily in space, nothing really weighs anything, so you don't feel that it's so heavy. But we need to have such a big suit because that guy back there is essentially the heart of the spacecraft. I call this actually a spacecraft. It has all the oxygen for you. It has all the.
Yeah, I like when they reference. I'm not sure how well that audio is coming through on your end there, but I like when they reference these spacesuits as really spacecraft. It's just like a small spacecraft, just human-sized spacecraft that you can fly around. Because there actually are. I don't see one here, but they actually do have somewhat of a jetpack system that allows you to reorient yourself. It's sort of a safety mechanism. They don't always go out with it, but they have made one. All right. So here's the outside. Well, let's go on a spacewalk. Let's see. Gotta bring up my list.
I'm here with my two buddies in the airlock. Actually, these are two spacesuits that are ready, primed up to go outside.
But yeah, talking about the
to go do a
EVAs
spacewalk in case we have to do anything outside.
It's really cool. Like, this is really neat because it's a great way to give tours of the ISS
electrical boxes and machinery
without actually having to do that. It's really a cool feature. Like, you can interact with a lot of these elements. Like the laptop there brings up another infographic. It's like going to a museum of the ISS and getting to explore it. But you actually get a sense of what the astronauts feel like when they're in it, like floating through space. Oh, this is great. Building a space station with VR tech. Said virtual reality has been an essential part of the construction and maintenance of the International Space Station. 3D models created using NASA technology are a part of the structure of the ISS and have been used to build the station step by step. So there you go. Virtual reality being used in a very practical sense to actually assemble the ISS. And you can see the VR goggles that he's wearing there to help do that. Really, that was the perfect thing to click on, I think. All right, go along through a little bit more here. I don't remember how to bring it. Oh, there's my menu. So I have this little tablet that I can just pop into existence at will, and this allows me to go on through the different activities, adjust settings. Worry about that right now. So I can go to the airlock to go on a spacewalk. So why don't I just fast travel to that point? We were sort of just in there anyways, but we're just going to proceed to go on a spacewalk. We're going to get our astronaut EVA suit on, and we'll go exploring. And I'm going to have the jetpack on so I can actually control myself. Now they don't just freely go out on a limb. It's very dangerous. Wow. But you can see now I sort of have a body. I have my helmet. My helmet's on here, and I have my console on my chest. But now again, as I mentioned, they don't actually just freely float around the space station. This is purely because we can safely do it. They can't necessarily. So. Look at that. Really gives you a sense of scale of how big the ISS actually is. It's a massive structure the size of a football field. And look, remember that video we saw earlier? The one I made. You can see the Milky Way, the core of the Milky Way out there too. Imagine the sights that you could see up there. Oh, and the sun, which is blinding. Oh, we don't want to get too far away. Here are the solar panels. We'll float a little higher up. down. Slow down. Slow down. It is a little bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. Because your brain it doesn't, you know, I consciously know that I am safe and I'm just in a virtual environment, but on a subconscious level, your brain is trying to work out what's going on here, and you can trick your brain into thinking you're in the real environment sometimes. There's you know, obviously things that get in the way of that, especially like when I just moved my hand outside the area and I saw my barrier come up to tell me I'm moving too close to it. But and of course it doesn't look hyper realistic, but it's not bad. And if you just let yourself get lost in it, like yeah, you can definitely spook yourself. Just flying above the ISS. How about that? Let's go down and see if we can find the cupola. There's the arm. A couple arms, actually. We're just climbing along a solar panel. There we go. See some of the cargo storage they have out there. Ah, no, that's the Canada arm. Let's look to it. And there's the cupola. We'll see that next. There's the Canada arm. So the Canada arm is used for, they actually, if you can run through a simulation in this, where you dock the SpaceX cargo capsule. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But they have you run through the steps for that in this one. It's right up there. Already docked. Alright, so we were looking about earlier from safety inside the ISS, but now we'll look at a bunch of these rails here and we'll look into it from outside. And look right back up and see the entire modeling of the station. So it feels very, very realistic. This is what you would see. If you were to go to the cupola outside when you're on a spacewalk and look through it, you could wave to your astronaut friends inside. And you can see there's also a bunch of these rails all over the outside for use for both grabbing onto and hooking up your I'm picturing carabiner, but it's not quite a carabiner. It's more secure than that. Wow, look at that. All right. We'll do one more sort of flyby. Maybe we'll drift off into space. Scare myself a little bit. I'm not sure how far it'll let you go before it stops you or what. We'll find out. So at this point, I can't grab onto anything. The only way back is to use my jetpack. So let's just take a nice... Maybe we can go higher up. Fly to the sun. There we go. Let's look at it from above.
ISS, this is Mission Control at Johnson. ISS, if you're going to keep going in that direction, you might want to put a re-entry vehicle around you first. Better come on back.
They're yelling at me. They're not happy I'm flying away. Well, I want to go to Mars, so stop me. I'll go all the way
You've
there.
gone too far from the station. If you're looking for something, it's not in that direction.
Is this circle telling me I'm going this way? Guess it won't let me go to Mars. In my space. got a good sense of ISS here and how this program works. I do want to also try out the Google Earth program, so I think we'll end this one and I'll start booting up Google Earth. It is really, I could spend a while out here though, just looking down on Earth. It's pretty good at simulation of it all.
ISS, you're too far from the station. Whatever mission you've assigned yourself, you're ill-equipped for.
Oh,
And that suit isn't rated for re-entry. Come on back.
Rated for re-entry? I don't think any spacesuit is rated. That's funny. Okay, let's get out of this. That was a good little joke to end on, I suppose. Quit that application, and we will jump into Google Earth. Yeah, I should reorient myself here. Is this forward?
Yes.
Okay. What time is it, Victor?
11:32.
Okay. We won't spend too much time in Google Earth, but if you have a place that you want to go explore, put it in the chat now.
I'll send a chat and Zoom telling that going to Google Earth in case anyone else wants to join. Should they write a chat on Zoom?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're monitoring the chat on
Yeah.
Zoom, that's fine too. Yeah.
Okay.
If they can't use YouTube chat. Yep. That might be even better if we just have them do it through there. Okay. Is the window showing up on Streamlabs yet?
No, not yet. It's still black.
Okay. So go to click on the window capture and just switch it over to the preview that's showing up for Google Earth, which should be there. You'll also, before you edit it, why don't you maximize it in the on that screen? And then you can switch over to that window on Streamlabs and just fit to screen with that transform I showed you.
Window capture?
Yep, use the, I mean, you can use the one that's already there. Yep, the window capture, and double click on it, and just use that drop down menu to switch over to the Google Earth window. Whoops.
There we go.
All right. It's showing up?
Yes.
Cool. All right, let me jump in here. And again, if anyone in the chat wants to, oh, the hair's getting in the way. If anyone in the chat wants to go to somewhere in particular, Victor will let me know. But otherwise, I'll just go exploring. Because this is the entire Earth. You can see it's building the Earth as we speak. So we can literally go anywhere. Anywhere you want to explore, we can go there. I'm just going to wait for it to finish up. There we go. Click to start. We'll just go on this little tour here that they're giving me, and then we can go. There we go. We're in Arches National Park in Utah. Now we're in Tokyo, Japan. Patagonia. Oh, look at the stars. Yeah, I like these trains. That's really cool. absolutely amazing that humans have modeled the entire Earth at this point, and that you can explore anywhere on the planet. Step 1 of 7: drag the Earth. Right, we're dragging. Fly towards the Earth. Point at where you want to fly. Press. Okay, that's easy enough. Look at that. So smooth. Place the Earth beneath you. Tilt the Earth down. Oh, there we go. Ah, gotcha. So you can either hover over it sort of in orbital fashion, like you're on the ISS, or you can put it beneath your legs. Open the menu to visit a featured place. Okay. And I think we'll go to New York City first. Manhattan. To change the time of day, drag the sky. Yep. Remember that one. Ooh, look at that. Sunrise there. Save a place. To save a place, hold this button. Cool. Okay. Cool. Alright, let's go exploring. Let's try. There we go. Alright. I can just fly around here. Like I said, I would be able to move around this space as well, to some degree. Move around, walk around the space. And I can fly down here, and I can look at how good this model is of One World Trade Center. Really impressive. We can also go to the Empire State Building. This is mostly what I did on Tuesday. So we'll move on from this in a moment, but what is this street view? Oh. There we go. There's Empire State Building. And it loads in the street view, which is those 360-degree images. So I can look all around. They add some nice audio too, which I appreciate. So it immerses you a little bit more. It's not just a quiet world. There's some birds chirping. Really nice. All right, let's go somewhere we didn't travel to. Whoa. What I really like about this, though, is that you sort of feel like a giant, like you're Godzilla or something, moving around New York. Let's go to a different place. Has anyone in the chat said, have they suggested anything yet?
No, but someone's asking for help with the project.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can wrap this up soon.
All right.
If Royce is listening in on there, I'm not sure if the mic is on for that.
Yeah, I don't know if he hears.
You can just let him know either through the chat or whatever that he can go jump on and help them. Wonder if I can find the crater in Arizona. Let's try that. Meteor crater natural landmark in Arizona. That's it. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. So this is a impact crater, one of the best preserved impact craters on Earth. Look how deep it is. Just remember how big those buildings were when I was flying around them earlier. Look how deep this crater is on Earth. this impact crater, it was about 40,000 years ago this happened. And because of where it is on Earth, there's not a lot of erosion in this area of Arizona, so it survived into the Earth. It's also a fairly young crater for us. There's not a lot of impacts on Earth. Our atmosphere does a good job of protecting us. Moon does a good job. Jupiter does a good job of protecting us from those impacts. Here's the facility where you can visit. They don't have that modeled in 3D, it looks like. But yeah, just standing on the edge here is really cool. And like, I'm a much bigger body. I'm not just one person. So you know, you imagine a person looking out on the edge here. It might even be a couple people looking. This is huge, huge crater. And there we go. We actually have a fragment of a meteorite from this crater. It's actually a pretty decent-sized chunk of meteor that came from this crater in Arizona. Look at that. I don't know if this is a street view. Oh yeah. All right, where's the crater though? Oh, it's right here. So here's what it would be like if you were standing on the edge of the crater wall. This person has a huge 360 camera where you can tell by their shadow, but it's probably because it was a dedicated Google.
People are coming back now.
What's that?
People
Oh,
are
they're
coming
coming back
back,
to the main session. Oh yeah, that's right, because we have time. That's probably a good time to stop then.
Alright.
Okay. So, thank you all for joining me in the VR session. I think we demonstrated some good ones. Maybe we'll have one more session this afternoon demonstrating a more game-like experience. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.